Welcome to our channel Crime Loom, the place where true crime stories come alive. Archibald Hall, also known as Roy Fontaine, was born in 1924 in Scotland. From a young age, he had a fascination with the finer things in life. He loved expensive clothes, luxury cars, and the idea of living a glamorous life. But behind his charming smile and polite manners, there was a darkness that few could imagine. Hall was not like other people. He had a cold heart, and he would do whatever it took to get what he wanted. His life of crime began with petty theft, but soon it escalated into something far more sinister. In his 20s, Hall discovered that he could manipulate people's eyes. He could charm wealthy strangers, make them trust him, and then take advantage of their kindness. He would sometimes stay in hotels and pretend to be someone important. Using fake names and confidence stories, he would convince staff and guests that he belonged among them. This talent for deception allowed him to move through society unnoticed, and it gave him opportunities to commit crimes without raising suspicion. As Hall grew older, his criminal activities became more dangerous. He began targeting vulnerable people who would not be missed quickly or who could be manipulated into giving him money. He had a particular obsession with murder. The idea of killing gave him a sense of control and excitement. His first known murders were not impulsive. They were carefully planned. Hall would select his victims, think about the best way to eliminate them, and ensure that there would be no witnesses. One of the most chilling aspects of Archibald Hall was his ability to keep a double life. To the outside world, he appeared as a respectable gentleman. He dressed impeccably, spoke eloquently, and could even be polite and charming. Yet behind closed doors, he was a cold-blooded killer. He often invited people into his life, people who trusted him, only to betray them in the most brutal ways. This ability to switch between charm and cruelty made him extremely dangerous. Hall's murders were not random. He carefully selected his victims based on opportunity and potential gain. Some were people he knew from his criminal activities, while others were strangers he met while traveling. Money was often a motive, but Hall also seemed to enjoy the thrill of murder itself. He showed a disturbing combination of greed and sadism, making him one of the most terrifying criminals of his time. In one of his earliest known killings, Hall targeted a hotel owner who had allowed him to stay. Hall had befriended the owner, gained his trust, and then killed him when he saw an opportunity to steal money and valuable items. The murder was cold and methodical. Hall disposed of the body carefully, making sure that no evidence would connect him to the crime. Despite the brutality, he felt no remorse. Instead, he felt a sense of satisfaction at outsmarting the law and successfully eliminating his target. As his crimes continued, Hall became more confident. He realized that he could move between cities and commit crimes without being caught. He would often use aliases and forged documents to hide his identity. This made it almost impossible for the police to track him. Hall was intelligent and cunning. He understood human behavior, and he used this knowledge to manipulate those around him. Friends, acquaintances, and even family members had no idea what he was capable of. Hall's criminal career eventually escalated to multiple murders. One of his most notorious crimes involved killing members of a household in order to steal money and valuables. He would enter their homes, gain their trust, and then strike when they were least expecting it. Hall's method was always calculated. He would often use strangulation or blunt force, ensuring a quick death and minimal noise. After the murders, he would carefully stage the scene, sometimes even trying to make it look like an accident. Despite his cunning, Hall was not invincible. Over time, small mistakes and inconsistencies in his behavior began to draw attention. People started noticing that things were disappearing or that certain events did not add up. Hall's confidence made him careless at times, and this eventually led to his downfall. Investigators began to piece together evidence from different crimes, and they started connecting the dots. Hall's capture was the result of careful police work. Investigators noticed patterns in the murders and realized that they were dealing with a serial killer. They traced Hall's movements, checked his aliases, and interviewed people who had encountered him. Slowly but surely, the evidence began to close in. Hall's ability to charm and manipulate no longer protected him. The police were methodical and determined, and they were able to build a case against him that could not be ignored. When Hall was finally arrested, the truth about his crimes shocked the nation. People could not believe that someone who appeared so polite and respectable could commit such horrific acts. The details of his murders revealed a chilling level of planning and cruelty. Hall had managed to live a double life for years, but eventually, justice caught up with him. He was charged with multiple counts of murder, theft, and fraud, and the evidence against him was overwhelming. During the trial, Hall tried to maintain his composed and charming demeanor, but the weight of his crimes was undeniable. Witnesses came forward, evidence was presented, and the stories of his victims painted a clear picture of a man capable of extreme violence. The court was horrified by the calculated nature of his crimes and the lack of remorse he showed. Hall's manipulation and deception could not save him this time. The sentence was severe but deserved. Archibald Hall was given a life sentence for his murders. He was sent to prison, where he spent the remainder of his life. Even in prison, Hall remained a figure of fascination for criminologists and true crime enthusiasts. His ability to charm, deceive, and kill made him a case study in the psychology of serial killers. People wanted to understand how someone could lead such a double life and commit such terrible crimes. Hall's life is a chilling reminder of how appearances can be deceiving. On the surface, he seemed like a polite, well-dressed gentleman, yet underneath, he was a cold-blooded murderer. He manipulated everyone around him, showing no regard for human life. His crimes demonstrate the dangers of charm used for evil purposes and the terrifying reality of a mind capable of premeditated murder. Even years after his death in prison, Archibald Hall remains infamous. True crime writers and historians continue to study his life, trying to understand what drove him to commit such atrocities. His story serves as a warning. Not everyone who appears trustworthy or charming is safe. Sometimes the most dangerous people are those who can hide their true nature behind a mask of civility. Hall's victims are remembered as innocent, people whose lives were tragically cut short. Their stories highlight the human cost of his crimes and remind us of the pain and suffering caused by one individual's greed and cruelty. The police officers who investigated Hall worked tirelessly to ensure that justice was served, and their persistence brought an end to his reign of terror. Archibald Hall's crimes also influenced law enforcement practices. His use of multiple aliases, careful planning, and ability to manipulate others showed the need for more thorough investigations and better tracking of criminal behavior. Modern police techniques, including profiling and interagency communication, were shaped in part by cases like Hall's. His story is often cited in criminology courses and true crime documentaries as an example of a serial killer who used charm and intelligence to commit horrendous acts ultimately. The story of Archibald Hall is both fascinating and horrifying. It shows the extremes of human behavior and the capacity for evil that can hide behind a polite facade. It is a tale of manipulation, deceit, and murder, and it remains a chilling chapter in the history of British crime. His life, crimes, and eventual capture continue to captivate and horrify those who study true crime. Hall's legacy is one of caution. It teaches us to be careful in whom we trust and to look beyond appearances. While many criminals are caught quickly, Hall's story demonstrates how someone clever, charming, and ruthless can evade justice for years. Yet, in the end, even the most cunning killers are not invincible. Justice may take time, but it will arrive today. Archibald Hall is remembered as one of Scotland's most notorious serial killers. His crimes left an indelible mark on the victims' families, law enforcement, and the public. The lessons learned from his case continue to inform criminal investigations and true crime studies. While his life ended in prison, the story of Archibald Hall lives on, as a chilling reminder of human deception and the darkness that can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary face.
Subscribe to Crime Loom and join us as we unravel